Hi Taurus, welcome to your December 2019 Astrology 33 bonus love reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And just to let you guys know, regarding personal readings, I actually won't be offering those until around the second week of December. Once I know the date for sure, I will post something about it on the channel. So just letting you guys know. And as far as what we have in front of us, we have a Bridging the Gap spread. And the way it works is the cards on the left side here are actually your energy toward the connection with your main love interest, and the cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. And then these are the past energies, present energies, future energies. Once we get through all those, we'll actually attempt to pull some oracle cards for some additional insight. That's where the Bridging the Gap dynamic comes into play. Alright, and then as for the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. So with all that out of the way, we'll get into the main spread. Past energy on your side, we have Magic. So this is the equivalent of the Magician card in regular tarot. And I could see this playing out a few different ways. One could just be saying that maybe you manifested this person, whether subconsciously or not. But more than that, I see that this is probably just saying that you really started to work your own magic, if you will, meaning that you started to build up your own self-confidence. Maybe you started to accomplish things in other areas of your life, and as a result of that, other areas of your life starting to solidify for you, you ended up attracting love into your life. That's primarily how I see it playing out there. But yeah, well, let me see if there's anything else that comes to mind with this. And then another way it could be playing out too, I guess, could just be saying that that's how you feel like you might connect with this person on all levels. Because if we think about the Magician cards in tarot, they usually have all four suits represented on the table. So it could just be saying that, you feel like this is someone that you actually connect with on all levels, maybe not just romantically, but maybe you feel like you're good friends with them too. You just feel like you're really compatible across the board. Past energy on their side, they have the Two of Pentacles. So this is actually a Capricorn energy, but more than that, this represents a little bit of a wishy-washy energy, especially with this deck in particular. Like if you look at the person, it looks like he's a little hesitant to actually put his hands on her, like he's a little shy about it basically. So could just be saying that whereas it looked like you were ready to manifest and you felt the power of the connection, they might have been a bit more undecided, or maybe even again, maybe they did have the attraction, but maybe the self-confidence wasn't there. Like I said, it feels like you were pretty strong in your confidence in the past, whereas they might have just been a little more unsure of themselves, more than it being an actual, direct result of the connection with you in particular. So that could be what's playing out there. In the present energy on your side, we have Tradition. So this is the equivalent of the Hierophant card in traditional tarot, and that's actually the Major Arcana card that represents your sign. So to me, this is yet another indicator of what I was feeling about in the past, which is to say, maybe you guys have just really been building up your self-esteem lately. Maybe things have really been taken off for you guys in other areas of your life, and now you just feel, especially for earth signs, you guys do like to feel secure financially at the very least, right? Before you feel like you're able to really give yourself to a commitment. So maybe this is saying, now that you have gained traction in other areas of your life, now you're actually ready for something as far as a stable commitment goes. Maybe not as far as marriage, which this card does seem to imply, but at the very least something where it's a very serious commitment where you'd at least see that potential for the connection in the future. So that's what I'm picking up on there. And it could just also be saying that maybe it's the approach that you're taking toward the connection too, as opposed to the more modern ways of approaching a relationship, right? Maybe you're just handling it a bit more traditionally. Present energy on their side, we have the Ten of Cups. So on the one hand, well, this is a Pisces energy for one, but on the one hand, this could just be showing that obviously they're feeling a lot more positive toward the connection as well. But at the same time, another way this could be playing out too could just be saying, if you think about the Ten of Cups energy, it definitely has that happy vibe to it, right? A completion vibe to it. But at the same time, a little bit of that idealism going, you know what I mean? That's what I think about when I see the rainbow with the cups in it. So that could be one way it's playing out too, where you're feeling like pushing things forward in a bit more of a concrete way. This person might definitely still have that attraction to you and be very happy with you, but maybe they're not as locked into making it something more traditional. You know, that's what I'm picking up on there. Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, again, like I said, this definitely isn't a bad card to get. Obviously, Ten of Cups in the upright, that's one of the better cards you can get. But that's what I'm feeling. It could just be that your approaches to the relationship could be slightly different. So I definitely feel, like I said, even here with the past energy, it didn't seem like it was a lack of interest, right? I mean, the guy still is approaching her, but just seems a little shy about it. So it could be the same deal there, where they're definitely totally into you, but maybe they're not thinking about the traditional, vibe of a connection with you, as opposed to, whereas it looks like you're definitely locked in on that. They're just enjoying the ride a little bit. Let's put it that way. They're not really thinking that far ahead, I don't think. Future energy on your side, we have the Ten of Staves. So this is the equivalent of the Ten of Wands. And I will say, right when we start December, pretty much, Jupiter is going to be moving out of those degrees of Sagittarius. This represents the last 10 degrees, and then moving into Capricorn. And pretty much as soon as it does, maybe a week in, it's going to trine Uranus in your sign. So there could be some significance there. And for you guys, this representing your eighth house too. This could just be saying, I mean, if we look at it more that way, if we think about the Ace of Wands energy, for example, we always see that as a sexual energy. And given that Sagittarius is your eighth house, could just be saying that the sexual connection could really take off between the two of you in the future. Especially we see like the fiery background there. So, more so than this being a burden, I feel like it might be more one of those things. So again, still a positive connection. Um, maybe in a way, maybe you might feel like you do have to do a little more work in a connection, but I don't necessarily see it as much of a burdened vibe like with the traditional tarot looking at it in this deck. But yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe, again, you're feeling something a bit more traditional right now. And like I said, it feels like they might be more of a go with the flow type, where they're definitely into it, they're definitely present, but, whereas you're like, all right, well, let's really take some steps forward here. They could just be more of a go with the flow type, and you might feel like you have to do a bit more of the heavy lifting in the connection in that regard. All right, future energy on their side is the Ten of Pentacles and the Three of Wands. So interesting energies here. Well, this is an Aries energy for one, and then this is a Virgo energy, which is your fifth house, by the way. But Ten of Pentacles definitely represents that completion, the stability, the desire for, family. So this can just point to the fact that they are getting there, especially, going from, like I said, the bit of the wishy-washy vibe we see with the Two of Pentacles, and then maybe more to the idealism vibe that we see with the Ten of Cups. And now in the future, moving to Ten of Pentacles, it's like, all right, they will eventually become a bit more grounded toward the connection and see it more from your perspective, right? If we think about the Pentacles as the stability vibe. But with the Three of Wands, what's interesting there is to say that usually that's the energy of waiting, right? Waiting for your ships to come in. So it could just be saying with this particular combination of the two cards that maybe you're starting to realize that too, where you might realize that for them, with this Three of Wands energy, they're very much the type that, well, I guess one way you could say it is they'll let you take the lead, but they will put in the work. You know what I mean? Meaning that they'll wait to see what you're going to put in before they put in their full effort. So maybe, and then maybe that's even what the tradition is saying there. Because, for example, if you're a female and you're thinking of more the traditional female role, which is, oh, I'm going to let them be the aggressor, right? But then they're looking at it from the perspective of, well, I'm going to wait to see what this person puts in order for me to put in my half, right? So that might be a bit of a change up for you. So that might be where you have the Ten of Staves energy, where like, okay, well, now I have to put in a bit more to work. But seeing these two cards come up together does show me that the person would put in the effort as well. Like I said, for whatever reason, they might just wait for you to make the move. And the reason why I say that even more is there's the mirror at the top of the image there. So that makes me think of the mirroring, right? Which is to say, okay, well, what they put in, I'll put in equally. And that could be what we're seeing there too, as far as it looks like they're in a way a step behind you, right? If we think about you were in the magician energy in the past, whereas they were a bit wishy-washy, though. And okay, fast forward to the present, now they're in a bit of that magician type energy with the Ten of Cups, right? And you're in the tradition vibe with the stability, and now okay, now they come with the Ten of Pentacles in the future. So it could just be pointing out the same thing, which is to say that you're taking the lead in the connection, and they will reciprocate what you give. But again, it's just going to be something you might have to get used to, where you're going to be taking the lead most of the time. Bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Eight of Cups. So usually this represents that energy where you get to a point where you leave a connection behind in search of something that's a bit deeper. So for a lot of you, I feel like this is probably in the past energy. And then that might have been what led to that magician energy, which was, okay, I've gotten this far. It's not really getting me where I want to go. So I'm going to actually, work on myself and look for something more fulfilling, right? And then I do have to say, I'm not going to go through the bottom of the deck all day, but underneath that we have Fortune, which is the Wheel of Fortune. So definitely some positive energy there, which is to say that if you did decide to make that move to look for something more fulfilling, it looks like that was the move you did need to make, and that actually got the wheel to spin forward for you guys. Interestingly enough, on their side, we have the Seven of Swords. So oftentimes we think about the Seven of Swords energy as an energy of deception, but with this deck in particular, I don't really see it that way. To me, it's more about feeling each other out. So if we look at them, they're in the bed together, right? But it looks like there's a disconnect there. And I think even the message in the booklet regarding this card points to that too, which is to say, you might just need that time to learn each other in that regard. So that could be what this is all pointing to as well. Like I said, where it seems like you might take the lead and then they'll follow, each step of the way. They'll put in the same effort you do, but again, they're going to wait to see what you do first. And maybe that's where the growing pains might come in for the two of you, where you feel like, okay, are they really going to put in the work or what? So that could be the disconnect energy that I see there. And since that represents Aquarius energy, this could be someone that you work with as well. And maybe that might have even been their hesitancy to get into the connection in the past, was because they're like, ooh, I don't know, this is someone I work with. If things go bad, right? Maybe, that would be a bad idea. So that might have even been why they were a bit hesitant. Like, I don't know if this is the right thing to do. But overall, I do see this as a very positive connection. But we'll see what the Oracle cards add to the mix. So first we'll see if we get any additional messages from the Mystic Moon Oracle deck I have here. And for those of you who haven't seen this type of reading from me before, I do pre-shuffle this deck. And then what I'm looking for here is just a couple of jumpers. So first I'll look to see if there's any unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you. And if I shuffle for a bit, nothing jumps out, then I'll just take that as a sign to keep it moving, since this is just a general reading anyway, rather than just pulling a random card. So see if we get anything. Like I said, first we're looking for a message from them to you, or from you to them, rather, excuse me. Okay, nothing's coming up yet, but I'll shuffle for a bit more, see if we get anything. Okay, nothing there, so we'll see if we get any from them to you. Okay, we got one. Alright, it says, something is still missing for me and I'm trying to figure out what that is. So For some of you, I think Sagittarius might have gotten this card on their side. So some of you could be dealing with a Sagittarius. But beyond that, I'm feeling like this was definitely maybe more, especially in the past, with the Two of Pentacles energy. And maybe that's why they were a bit slow going in the beginning. Because, like I said, if nothing else, even if in the present you feel like the Ten of Cups energy is like one of those things where you being in the tradition, right, the Hierophant mode in the present versus their Ten of Cups, you might feel like, well, okay, they're here, but do they really see this as serious of a connection as I do, right? Maybe that's what you're doubting. At the very least, if that's the case, we do see the Ten of Pentacles in the future. So like I said, it does look like they will get to where you are eventually. But like I said, it just seems like one of those connections where you might be in the lead most of the time. All right, let's see what we get from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Same story here, although I'm just looking for one card from this deck, but I did pre-shuffle this one as well. And we'll just try to get one card to wrap everything up. Oh, got one already. All right. So the card you guys got is Truth to Be Told. There's the artwork. And the number is 14. So interestingly enough, what that made me think of the number 14 is the fact that that's the major arcana card of Temperance in the regular tarot is 14, which does represent balance, and it's also a Sagittarius card. So maybe even more confirmation that some of you might be dealing with a Sagittarius. And actually, yeah, because that I think that was their theme too, where they were like still undecided, and the other person that they were dealing with was definitely a bit more certain. So if you are dealing with a Sagittarius, definitely check out their video too. Might give you some additional insight. All right. Essential meanings says honesty, accepting things at face value, coming out of denial, the willingness to be transparent, clarity of communication. The Oracle's message: there is the truth, which is the essence of a thing, and then there is a truth, subjective, according to the philosophy of the adherent or believer. This is not a time for debate about which truth is truer. This is a time when you are called to proclaim your truth out loud and be willing to be transparent, honest, and open in your communication with others and with yourself. Nothing less than surrender to what is, peeling off the layers of denial that kept you tied to an illusion, will set you free. Be authentic and gloriously flawed, and Spirit will answer with miracles. So, the whole, this is not a debate about which truth is truer. To me, that makes me think of almost like I was saying, where it seems like you guys just might have different approaches, and it looks like you guys will get to the same place eventually, but like I said, it feels like they'll be looking at you to take the lead for whatever reason. So maybe that's what that's referring to there. The relationship message says people tell you who they are very quickly if you're willing to listen to what they say and pay attention to how they behave. This card calls you to engage in heartfelt, open conversation. It's time to see the truth about what you share with each other and tell the truth about who you are and what you need. No one can do that for you. Remember that your truth is always based in your personality and experience up to now. A higher truth will be found after you communicate honestly and see how doing so has helped you become more attuned to yourself. Don't hold back. Speak your truth and listen. So interesting there, and maybe that's even what the Magician energy was saying too, as far as the past energy. Maybe in the past energy you seemed a bit more light and playful, right? Whereas maybe this was your ultimate goal. So maybe they got the vibe that, oh, okay, this is how they're viewing the connection, So maybe when you shift gears and let them know what you're looking for, maybe it might turn out to be one of those things with the Ten of Cups and then leading to the Ten of Pentacles where they match you on that, but it could have just been cross signals between the two of you in the past because maybe there wasn't that clearly defined communication, So overall, like I said, I definitely see this as a pretty positive spread. Hopefully you guys got something from that. We'll wrap up there. Happy holidays, and I'll see you guys next year. All right, bye.